Chapter 1: The Banished Battle God. Click click, tap tap. A pair of nimble hands fluttered across the keyboard and mouse. The rhythm of the rapping sounds produced were like a lively symphony. The screen flashed with bright light and the opponent fell to the ground in a spray of blood. Ha ha! Yi Chu laughed as he lifted his hand to take the cigarette that was held in the corner of his mouth. The silver-white smoke had already formed into a long cloud, but Yi Chu continued with his work, brandishing his mouse and striking his keyboard, not in the least bit shaken. The removed cigarette was quickly extinguished in an eccentrically shaped ashtray on the table. Yi Chu's hand quickly flew back to the keyboard. Right when he was about to say a few words to his opponent, the door of his room was suddenly pushed open with a bang. Yi Chu didn't turn his head as if he had been waiting for this moment, merely asking, "Arrived?" "Arrived," Su Mucheng also replied simply. "Then let's go." Yi Chu once again declined his opponent's request for a duel. He gently removed the card from Glory's dedicated login device. He headed to the door and grabbed a jacket from a clothes hanger on his way out. The night had already darkened considerably, but Club Excellent Era's lights were still bright. Yi Chu and Su Mucheng walked out of a room and walked all the way to the end of the corridor. Located here was a spacious conference room. At the entrance, digital display screens almost completely covered the walls. They showed the rankings of the Glory Professional Alliance and a few skill statistics. Ranking: Excellent Era Battle Team ranked number 19, second to last place. Once a trump card team with 3 consecutive titles as champions in the league, their former achievements were exceptionally dazzling. Now it hung brightly on the wall as if heartlessly mocking everyone. The atmosphere in the room wasn't heavy. On the contrary, it was somewhat friendly. The members of Excellent Era were all gathered around one person as if they were stars surrounding the moon. They ignored Yi Chu's arrival, and the ones that did, quickly swept over him with expressions of coldness and mockery. "Yi Chu, the club has already decided that the transfer member Sun Shang will take over your position as captain. From now on, Sun Shang will be in control of your account." One autumn leaf, club manager saw the arrival of Yi Chu and immediately turned his head to speak. Without saying it in advance or conveying it tactfully, he heartlessly notified him in an ice-cold manner as if he were throwing away a ball of already used toilet paper. Su Mucheng opened her mouth wanting to speak, but Yi Chu lightly tugged at her sleeve. He smiled and nodded his head at her, indicating that he wasn't surprised. "Brother Yi, I'm sorry, on arriving, I just took your position." On the left-hand side of the conference table, the exclusive seat for Excellent Era's team captain should have been Yi Chu's seat. But Sun Shang casually sat there as he said these few words. However, his eye didn't even glance at Yi Chu. This was already no longer ignorance, rather it was a type of disregard. His gaze fell upon Su Mucheng's body, who had arrived with Yi Chu. To be fair, Su Mucheng was indeed more attractive to the eye than Yi Chu. She was known as the Glory Professional Alliance's #1 beauty. Even if she was thrown into the show business, she would still be considered a rare beauty. Even for those Excellent Era members who could see her every day, they were still somewhat stunned when they saw Su Mucheng enter. Only they quickly recovered because there was another important person that deserved their attention. "Ha ha, Brother Shang, with those words, this position definitely suits you." Everyone that had recovered promptly scrambled for their lines after he said this. "Right, some people are already old and out of date. One autumn leaf really should follow Brother Zhang's commands so that our abilities can truly be displayed as battle strength." This was the focus that everyone paid attention to at this moment. Sun Shang, Glory Professional Alliance Generation's genius-level player. In the league last season, Sun Shang won the most outstanding rookie title with his MVP-like stats and led the mediocre over the Clouds team to 8th place. His advance to the playoffs was hopeful, but midway, he transferred to the collapsing Excellent Era club. Although Excellent Era's accomplishments were terrible, they possessed a player who was regarded as a battle god in Glory, Battle Mage One Autumn Leaf. These Excellent Era members actually shamelessly approached Sun Shang, who hadn't even been a part of the alliance for 2 years. It was clear that Sun Shang would be the future leader of the team. Sun Shang comfortably accepted their flattery and was unwilling to part with it, so much so that he wouldn't glance at Yi Chu, feeling that such an action was beneath him. Yi Chu, hand over your account card for one autumn leaf to Sun Shang, the team manager said. Even if Yi Chu was unfazed before, at this moment, his heart couldn't help but feel somewhat hurt. Yi Chu, one autumn leaf, the relationship between these two names was obvious. TL note, Yi Chu means autumn leaf. This was the name he had created when he entered the online game world of Glory. This account had accompanied Yi Chu for a full 10 years. Originally, the newbie became known as a textbook-level expert. The insignificant battle mage also turned into the famed battle god in Glory. But 7 years ago when he entered the professional circle, he signed a business contract with the club and all the rights to one autumn leaf transferred to the club. Yi Chu had known that there would be a day they would separate, and this day finally arrived. Yi Chu's fingers slightly trembled. To a pro player, steady hands were a must. This inner quality could not be ingrained any further into the old veteran's body, but right now, Yi Chu's hands were trembling. Su Mucheng twisted her head. She did not want to see this scene, but was powerless to help. Everyone took delight in his misfortune as one autumn leaf, that silver-white account card, was handed over to Sun Shang. Sun Zhang's eyes lit up with greed and happiness. He had willingly transferred and joined the inferior Excellent Era Club in order to have one autumn leaf's account. One autumn leaf's former owner Yi Chu's achievements were not good in the last few years, and he often broke out in arguments with the club. Sun Shang had 100% confidence in replacing him. Mine. In the instant he retrieved the card, Sun Shang felt a burst of excitement but felt a trace of resistance from the card. Sun Shang felt Yi Chu's reluctance and proudly chortled, "Let go, brother Yi. Your hands are unexpectedly shaking to this degree. With these hands, how are you going to display your power as a battle god? Better to let me do it. I'll let the title battle god to once again echo throughout Glory. You? Retire." After saying this, Sun Shang saw that silent Yi Chu, who just only handed over one autumn leaf, had a hint of pain flash across his eyes. He discovered in shock that Yi Chu's trembling hands suddenly steadied. "Do you like this game?" Yi Chu suddenly asked, looking straight at Sun Shang. "What?" Sun Shang startled. "If you like it, then treat everything as glory and not boasting." "What did you say? What does this have to do with you?" Sun Shang suddenly lost control. At the moment, he didn't know why he felt that he was lower than Yi Chu by a head. He didn't think that he would lose to his opponent in loftiness. He came here in order to replace Yi Chu. He came here to take the battle god one autumn life. Put it away. Just when Sun Shang wanted to summon up his loftiness, Yi Chu already let go of the account card, faintly saying the phrase. He turned around ready to leave. "Yi Chu," at this moment, the manager suddenly called out. Yi Chu stopped and tilted his head slightly to the side, hearing that the manager was already behind him, saying, "The club currently doesn't have any suitable competitive cards to give you. First find a team member to serve as a training partner." Training partner. A person who built a dynasty in the Alliance and an expert known by all in Glory had actually fallen to be a training partner. Sun Shang was very interested in this arrangement and immediately laughed out loud. "With Brother Yi's level, training together won't be a problem. Only you deserve to be Glory Professional Alliance's #1 training partner." Ha ha. Accepting the insult, Yi Chu unexpectedly laughed. He turned his body towards the manager. "Training partner? It looks like I don't have to. I cancel the contract." "Cancel the contract? Are you actively seeking to cancel the contract?" The manager's expression looked as if she were in deep thought. "Right. I request to cancel the contract." "Don't be rash." Su Mucheng immediately came charging over to stop Yi Chu. An alliance had an alliance's rules. Terminating a contract during the contract period required a special reason. Actively seeking to cancel the contract required a penalty fee. Yi Chu and Excellent Era still had another half a year for the contract. If he were to forcefully request a termination of the contract, then the loss would be huge. As for Su Mucheng, she feared Yi Chu's departure. "The boss isn't here yet, wait for him to come before you continue speaking." Su Mucheng hoped Yi Chu would calm down. Yi Chu had noticed the trace of ridicule at the corners of the manager's mouth long ago. He shook his head towards Su Mucheng and laughed bitterly. "Mucheng, do you not understand? My departure is the boss's goal. I no longer have any value to this club. I'm only a money sink. No way. How could you be a money sink? Your strength wouldn't lose to anyone, Su Mucheng said. Strength isn't the issue. This is a business. And me? I've never had any business value, Yi Chu said. You originally did have value, but you chose to give it up yourself, the manager coldly interjected at this moment. Right, this is my choice, Yi Chu said. The current Glory Professional Alliance was flourishing, sponsors flocked over left and right. Celebrity players in Glory were natural advertisers as spokespeople for popular goods. But even though Yi Chu was viewed as a top-tier level player, he rejected any offer to be in advertisements. He even refused to take part in interviews or news conferences. He was like an ancient Nezan, carefully concealing his true identity in virtual reality. The club was extremely dissatisfied with this matter. They looked at him as if he were a gold mountain but were unable to dig out even the slightest amount of gold. They were only able to put up with him because his strength was tyrannical, helping the club gain fame and glory. But as their achievements declined, everything had already become of the past. The alliance's commercialization allowed us to survive, but now, Yi Chu couldn't say anything further. He also didn't know whether this development was good or bad. The current alliance was full of greed. Every alliance boss's first consideration was how to exploit the team to make a profit. Harboring a love for gaming and tirelessly struggling in glory, Yi Chu cherished his memories for the alliance when it had just been made. But now, the alliance only strived for money. Su Mucheng did not say another word. She had originally come with Yi Chu here and witnessed everything about this old veteran. Her eyes were filled with tears. She knew that Yi Chu truly wanted to leave. Blocking him would only make it more painful for him. Since it's like this, No need, Yi Chu smiled, interrupting Su Mucheng. He knew what she wanted to say. Don't worry, I haven't given up all hope yet. I'll be back. Right. This is the ambitious Yi Chu I recognize. Then first, let's talk about the penalty fee. Honestly speaking, you've been with us for so many years and your achievements have been high, so we won't push it. If you want to leave, then let's all sit down and talk about the details of canceling the contract. How about it? Tell it to me straight. What are the conditions? Yi Chu asked. Okay, the conditions are simple. Announce your retirement, the manager said. Retirement. This condition can't be avoided. Su Mucheng was very angry. Yi Chu was 25 years old this year. With regards to pro gamers in electronic gaming tournaments, this age was already considered high. Retiring at this age was not at all strange. But Yi Chu already stated clearly that he did not want to retire. The excellent era manager's condition of retirement was clearly directed against him. Retired pro players naturally did not have the qualifications to participate in a tournament again. Although retired pro players could come back, Glory Professional Alliance had a rule stating that a retired pro player could only return after a year. This was to prevent people from transferring to another team and then returning the next day. Yi Chu was already in the declining years of this profession. Every day was precious, but now they wanted him to waste a year. After 1 year, even if he wanted to return again, for the elderly, without a year of intense competition to maintain his skills and even by relying on former fame, whether the team would still want him would be an issue. In addition, Yi Chu had a fatal flaw: he refused to do anything related to business. It looked as if it were an impossible condition, but Yi Chu simply nodded his head. I accept. Are you mad? Su Mucheng alarmed. I've worked so hard for so many years, can I rest for a year? Yi Chu smiled. What are you thinking of doing? Su Mucheng didn't understand. Nothing much. Yi Chu turned his head. The manager had already handed over the documents. Yi Chu took a glance at them and laughed a bit. The other party really had prepared for this long ago. Thinking of this, Yi Chu put the pen to the paper and quickly signed his name. Just as he was about to leave, Yi Chu glanced back at this place he had stayed for 7 years. He didn't say any farewells and silently turned his body ready to leave. I'll send you off. Su Mucheng was the only one to follow behind him. Chapter 2, Area 3, Number 47. Chi, who do you think you are? Letting him retire is for his sake. What else can he do? Right. As tactful as he is, he wouldn't think to blame the club for retiring him. Yi Chu and Su Mucheng left. Everyone else in the conference room suddenly recovered and began mocking him again. But Sun Xian's expression was mixed. He did not participate and moved closer to the manager instead. I don't understand. How could he have accepted these conditions? He had no other choice but to accept, the manager said. Why? Because he can't pay the penalty fee, the manager said. How? How can that be? Sun Xiang was stunned. Yi Chu had worked hard as a professional gamer for 7 years and was also at the peak. Even if he had refused all business-related matters, his salary shouldn't have been so low that he would be unable to pay for the penalty fee. You weren't in that generation, so you wouldn't know. In the Alliance's initial stages, the Alliance Pro players were nowhere near as impressive as now. At that time, the pro players that had been fired ended up in terrible situations. Most of their youth had been used up on gaming. But none of them were skilled enough and most of them fell into dire financial straits. Yi Chu was that era's genius and we relied on his achievements to get to where we are today. But he had a lot of friends like that. So what you're saying is that most of his assets were given to those friends? Sun Zhang's eyes widened. Right. Then if he needed the money, why would he refuse to accept business activities? Sun Xiang asked. No one knows the reason for this, the manager said. You don't have any guesses? Sun Xiang asked. It might have something to do with his family, the manager said. No one knows anything about his family. He also never talks about them. It's very strange, which is why I suspect it, the manager said. This person has a lot of stories. Sun Xiang lifted up the one autumn leaf card that Yi Chu gave him. He knew that Yi Chu had made this account long before the professional alliance had been created. Used all the way up until now, this card was one of Glory's oldest accounts. Okay, let's not talk about him anymore. The boss is busy today and can't come. But he gave me this bottle of aged red wine from his collection just for your welcoming, the manager said. Ha ha, thank you very much. With me, excellent era will shine once again. Yi Chu left. Su Mucheng stood in front of the club's entrance. She stood like this until Yi Chu disappeared into the distance. He repeatedly turned around to wave his hand. Tears had already begun streaming down Su Mucheng's cheeks long ago. Without saying too much, Yi Chu said a total of 8 words, I'll rest a year and then come back. Su Mucheng did not say another word. She only nodded her head again and again. She was no longer that innocent young girl and had already assumed a lot of responsibilities alone. Snowflakes floated in the air. This winter was very cold. Snowing. When Yi Chu left the club, he hadn't thought of the next step. Having grown accustomed to a lifestyle for so many years, he had not yet adapted to the sudden change yet. He wanted to walk along like this until his thoughts cleared. Who knew that the weather wouldn't give him this opportunity? At this moment, snow began to fall. Moreover, more and more fell as time went on. Flying snowflakes quickly hit him, wetting his shoulders. Icicles also formed on his head. If he didn't take shelter, he would die. Yi Chu looked around left and right and saw an internet cafe along the road. The lights were still brightly lit this late at night and he dashed towards it at once. The internet cafe was nice and warm. Yi Chu burst in and shook the snowflakes off of his body and went up to the reception desk. Area 3 number 47, the young lady at the reception desk informed him of an open computer. She soon handed over an ID card to boot up the computer only to see that he had already left. The young lady didn't fuss over it. This type of matter evidently happened quite often. She silently put away the ID card knowing that he would have to come back to get it. Area 3 number 47, Yi Chu followed the signs searching. This internet cafe wasn't small. There were many computers and there was even a second floor. Area 3. Yi Chu saw the area number on the ceiling. It looked like he didn't need to go up to the second floor. Once he counted to number 47, Yi Chu became startled. This station had already been taken by a woman. Moreover, she was playing Glory. She was currently in the arena dueling. Her fierce movements caused the ponytail bunched up high on her head to sway. Facing towards her, he saw her controlling a launcher. Yi Chu blanked. He almost thought that Su Mucheng was sitting there. But he quickly realized that it wasn't her. Su Mucheng was always gentle and serene. Even during an intense PK confrontation, she always held a smile. Speaking about her, Yi Chu sometimes watched as she smiled while causing her opponents to explode into pieces. When she then politely said sorry, he would always inexplicably tremble a bit. As for this girl, her appearance was also beautiful and gentle. But she fumed with rage and devastated her keyboard in an all-out effort, making him feel that her appearance from top to bottom was a huge trap. Her murderous spirit is too scary. Only what a pity, Yi Chu saw the screen clearly. He saw that this girl was about to be in a terrible situation. As expected, her opponent capitalized on the opportunity as soon as she made a mistake. In 2 hits, what little life remaining immediately drained all at once. D*MNIT, Yi Chu heard this girl roar in rage. She slammed the keyboard, directly shutting down the game. Yi Chu hesitated on whether he still wanted the station or not. The girl already turned her head, glancing at the hesitant Yi Chu. Furiously getting up, she asked, "Computer?" Yi Chu nodded his head. "Then sit down." The girl had already left. Yi Chu shook his head at the impatience of ordinary gamers and finally sat down. Chen Guo was depressed, extremely depressed. She had just dueled 52 times in the arena, but she hadn't won a single one. She didn't want to believe this was real. Chen Guo rubbed the chasing haze in her pocket. Her account wasn't bad. Among ordinary players, her account would be considered quite strong and her skill level wasn't low. She had played Glory for a full 5 years. Her opponent's account wasn't as good as hers, but she still couldn't win over him a single time over 52 duels. He's a powerful expert, Chen Guo concluded. "Boss, you haven't logged out yet. Why is that person playing?" Chen Guo was thinking as she walked, when a voice suddenly interrupted. Chen Guo tilted her head and looked. At the neighboring computer, a frequent customer at the internet cafe was stretching out his neck looking at the computer she had just sat at. Not good. Chen Guo's heart dropped as she rushed back. Due to Glory's popularity, Glory login devices became standard computer accessories that were indispensable for internet cafes. Account cards only needed to be inserted into the device, so in these sort of public places, everyone put away their cards after using them. Every card only had one account. Lost cards could be reported, so stealing did not exist. But in these sort of public places, frequently, people would carelessly forget to log out and end up having their money and equipment looted. Chen Guo had been extremely frustrated after 52 straight losses and wasn't paying attention. She hadn't logged out, but switched to the desktop instead. Chen Guo hurriedly ran up and sure enough, that guy really was playing on her account. Only it didn't look like he was stealing equipment, it looked like he was eagerly dueling in the arena. Chen Guo didn't have time to bellow in rage, when a single large word popped up on the screen. Chapter 3, Special Duty, Night Shift. Win. Chen Guo was dumbfounded for a moment. The word that flashed on the screen, Glory, was the arena's victory symbol meaning KO. She had only left for how long? 40 seconds? 50 seconds? Chen Guo lifted her wrist and looked down at her watch. It definitely hasn't been a minute yet. But the result? The opponent I had lost to 52 times in a row was defeated in less than a minute? Chen Guo even forgot to rush up and snatch back her account. She wanted to see if this person could duel again for her to examine properly. But in the end, she saw that the person had already logged out of the game. He stretched out his arms as if he weren't too interested in the computer and glanced around left and right. Turning his head, he saw Chen Guo looking at him with wide eyes and hurriedly explained, "You hadn't logged out yet, and when I sat down, the fight had already started." "Don't worry, I helped you win." "How long have you used it?" Chen Guo asked. 40 seconds, Yi Chu said. Chen Guo's mouth dropped open when he said somewhat regretfully, "My hands were frozen cold, or else 30 seconds would have been enough." 30 seconds to beat the opponent that I lost to 52 times in a row? Who is this person? Could it be a professional gamer from the Excellent Era team? Chen Guo suddenly thought. She knew that the Excellent Era club wasn't too far away from the internet cafe. But she thought again, I would have recognized him if he was from the Excellent Era team. Unless it's that expert that never shows his face, Yi Chu. Yi Chu. Chen Guo became excited as soon as she thought of the name, but thinking how low profile this expert was, he probably wouldn't admit to it if she asked him directly. After hesitating for a bit, Chen Guo suddenly thought of something and quickly ran back to the reception desk. Who registered as Area 3 number 47's guest? Chen Guo asked the girl at the counter. Yi Shu, the girl said. Yi Shu? Yi Chu? It really is him, Chen Guo excitedly thought. It looked like she really had uncovered his hidden identity. This showed that he really was Yi Chu. If she had seen the name Yi Chu written, then she wouldn't have believed it. Ha, Chen Guo's laugh could only be called sinister. She had been prepared to use everything she owned to get his signature. Yi Chu's signature, ah. Who had it? No one. Just as she was thinking this, the receptionist girl said without thinking, he even forgot his ID card. ID card? Chen Guo stared blankly after hearing this. Only then did she realize that she had turned silly from excitement. Internet cafe registration had a system for identifying customers. An ID card had to be shown. How could someone use a fake ID? Where is it? Let me take a look. Chen Guo looked at the ID card in the girl's hand. Sure enough, Yi Shu was written on it. A wave of disappointment washed over and she a strong urge to change the word Shu into Chu. After finding out that he wasn't the low-profile expert she admired, although she was curious about this person's strength, her interest had already largely disappeared. Chen Guo angrily returned to Area 3 number 47 and handed over Yi Shu's ID card. You forgot to take your ID card. Oh, thanks, Yi Shu immediately answered. Do you work in the internet cafe? Yeah, I'm the boss. Oh, the boss, that's good. I just saw on the internet cafe's homepage, is your internet cafe hiring? Yi Shu asked. Ah, yes, Chen Guo didn't think that this person would suddenly ask this. She had just been thinking to compare notes with this person. This would be the perfect excuse to. I looked at it and felt that I match all of the qualifications. Work and pay aren't a problem. How about it? Consider it for a moment, boss, Yi Shu said. Oh, then you have to beat me in a duel in glory, Chen Guo said. What? There's this condition? Yi Shu turned around to check. You don't need to look for it. I'm adding it, Chen Guo said. Yi Shu stared blankly. Only now did he realize that his prior victory was too professional. This beautiful boss was curious about his strength, but Yi Shu bitterly laughed, shaking his head. I can't beat you. Why? Chen Guo startled. Because I don't have an account that can beat yours, Yi Shu said. Account? What level is it? What equipment? Chen Guo asked. No levels, no equipment, Yi Shu said. How? Chen Guo didn't believe it. He had defeated the opponent she couldn't beat in 40 seconds. If this type of person didn't have a leveled account, then how did he practice to this level of skill? I gave away my original account, Yi Shu could only say this. Oh, so it's like this, how generous, Chen Guo sighed with sorrow. This person's strength was powerful, his account definitely wouldn't be weak. Powerful accounts were extremely valuable. Gifting it away so easily was very valiant. Yeah, too generous, Yi Shu forced a smile. The account he had given away was the Battle God 1 Autumn Leaf. To only use the word generous to describe him was truthfully too petty. Is it to get ready to play in the new server? Chen Guo asked. New server? Yi Shu stared blankly and suddenly glanced at the date. The next day was Glory's 10th anniversary. Glory, starting from the 2nd anniversary onwards, would open a new server on every anniversary. The registration for the 10th server had already started 3 months ago. Old players who weren't satisfied with the old server would prepare to enter Glory again, looking forward to this day. Now, Glory's 10th server was opening. The distant one Autumn Leaf was an account in Glory's first server. Later, in Glory's 5th expansion, a lot of experts obtained the qualifications to complete the challenge skill, becoming the first ones possessing access to all servers. Now one Autumn Leaf had already exchanged owners. His career as a professional in Glory also left with it, but he coincidentally met up with the start of the new server. Yi Shu's mind stirred. 10 years of memories suddenly flashed through his mind. New server, Yi Shu mumbled. I remember that at the start of a new server, you can transfer to it, right? Yi Shu suddenly asked Chen Guo. Only level 1 accounts can, Chen Guo said. Let me try. Yishu fished out an account card from his pocket and quickly applied for a server transfer on the Glory home page. Chen Guo looked at the account card amazed. Isn't this a first edition card? It is, Yishu smiled. Glory had a new edition every year. A first edition card would be from almost 10 years ago. Chen Guo looked at Yishu astonished. How long have you been playing Glory? Cards weren't living objects. People were. Even if a card had been around for 10 years, it didn't mean a person had been. Almost 10 years, Yishu answered, confirming that he and the card were one. Chen Guo had thought that she, with 5 years of gaming, was already considered a veteran. She wouldn't have thought that the guy in front of her had a full double her experience. 10 years. That was Glory's first group of players. To continue playing up until now yet still having interest in entering a new server, what type of drive was this? While thinking this, the home page had already displayed, server transfer successful. Done. Yishu pulled out the account card. He once again recalled the little details contained with this first edition card. Are you saying you want to become a network manager? Chen Guo suddenly brought up this matter. Yes. Which one are you looking at? Chen Guo asked. The night shift one, Yishu said. Oh, are you fine with that? Chen Guo surprised. The night shift one went on from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The monthly income was greater than others by 300, but very few applied. After all, not many people were willing to have day and night reversed every day. As a result, everyone had to take turns completing the task. If there truly was someone who took on the special night shift task, then everyone would be relieved. No problem, no problem. I like working at night, Yishu said. Chen Guo carefully sized up this person in front of her. His hair looked as if it hadn't been taken care of in at least half a month. His face didn't look too healthy. Although it was white and clear, it was that sort of sickly pale. His 2 eyes gazed at her listlessly. She had seen this appearance many times. The youths that frequently visited her internet cafe often looked like this. The guy in front of her didn't look too young, but was unexpectedly also so dejected and disdained. Disdained was disdained. As long as he wanted to be a full-time night cat, then Chen Guo would welcome him. What's more, she was also curious about the strength of this person with 10 years of gaming experience. She clapped her hands on the spot. Okay, then you're hired. Thank you very much, boss. Look at the terms carefully. It'll be in accordance with those, Chen Guo said. No problem. Then good, come with me. Chen Guo handled matters crisply. After hiring Yishu, she immediately ordered him as an employee to tidy up a pile of keyboards and move them to the second floor for storage. Chen Guo's internet cafe was called Happy Internet Club, considered a fairly high-class internet cafe. There were 2 floors and over 1,000 computers. The second floor was somewhat small, but was clearly luxurious, a high-class area. And the inside was a paradise hiding 2 small inner rooms and storage room. Yishu busily moved keyboards up and down, having already inspected this small room. The recruitment page wrote, food and shelter included. Yishu had just left the club and hadn't yet thought of the next step. Food and shelter, these sort of conditions, would give him time to settle down and think about what to do next. Only then did he feel interested in taking a position at the internet cafe. At first glance, this small room was probably the shelter. Although the decoration was simple, it was clean and tidy. Yishu was very satisfied with it. He continued pondering as he arranged the keyboards that he brought up. Good, that's where you'll be sleeping. Seeing that Yishu had finished the work, she pointed towards the small bed crammed into the storage room. What? Yishu stared blankly. He imagined that he would be sleeping in that bright and clean room. Even the drawing room sofa would be good. Here. Yishu lifted his head to look. On the west wall of the small storage room was a tiny window that directly faced the streetlights. When the storage room lights were closed, dusky light immediately shone through the tiny window as if it were haunted. It's a little lacking. Just put up with it for now. In reality, my internet cafe isn't lacking people. With you, we don't have too many. Without you, we don't have too few. The recruitment flyers you saw are fairly old, Chen Guo said. Oh, so it's like this. No problem, no problem. This is pretty good, Yi Shu declared at once. His approving attitude made Chen Guo feel very apologetic. This small storage room truly wasn't a place for living. In your free time, you can go on the computers and play. It's not a problem, employees don't have to pay, Chen Guo said. Boss, you're also very generous. Cough, as if I cared about a single computer among 1,000, Chen Guo said. How is the flow of customers ordinarily? Yi Shu asked. Not bad. Enough for me to be satisfied, Chen Guo said. Of course, there won't be as many in the night shift. Most of them are students from the nearby university pulling all-nighters. There's really not much to say. You'll see when it's time. Got it. In order for you to adapt to the workplace, how about starting today? I also want to observe and see your ability to work all night, Chen Guo said. No problem. My energy's at full capacity. Yi Shu gave her 2 big thumbs up, showing that working all night was his specialty. Okay then. Let's go down. I'll treat you to a midnight snack, Chen Guo said. Oh, to eat what? There's not much at this time. There should be a small restaurant nearby that hasn't closed yet. Go look and buy a few dishes to bring back. I don't eat celery, Chen Guo said as she fished out $200 from her pocket and slipped them to Yi Shu. It's snowing though, Yi Shu said. It's just across the road. How much snow would get on you? Hurry up, Chen Guo said. Yi Shu had no other choice. He crossed the road and bought a few midnight snacks. He had just been hired but had already been ordered in quick succession. But he wasn't feeling depressed at all. After speaking with her for only a bit, they were no longer strangers. This sort of natural friendliness made him feel comfortable. Yi Shu suddenly realized, even after all this, he had never asked for his boss's name. Chapter 4, Mysterious Expert. Sister Chen, you're eating midnight snacks again. After buying the midnight snacks, Chen Guo called all of the internet cafe employees to enjoy them together. The smell of the dishes recklessly filled the internet cafe, immediately causing a wave of wailing and protests from the guests. The time for dinner had already passed, yet they were being forced to smell the sweet fragrance from the dishes. That wasn't pleasure. That was a trap. Line up orderly if you want instant noodles, Chen Guo called out. Sister Chen should eat kitchen food every day. We'll eat instant noodles then. No one rejected the temptation. They could only grab internet cafe instant noodles and eat while jealously watching the employees eat their full course meals of 6 dishes and a soup. If you also want to go out and eat, don't ask my employees to go on an errand for you, Chen Guo said. Next time, could you tell us in advance? Can't you help deliver it to us? A person said. The internet cafe only has so many people. How could we deliver it all back? Enough of this nonsense. If you really want to eat so much but are too lazy to buy it, go ask for their phone number. Wouldn't they be willing to deliver it? Chen Guo said. Sister Chen, do you have their number? Lend it to me so I can copy it down, a person said. What would I do with their phone number? I have people to run errands for me. Why would I inconvenience the restaurant? Chen Guo said. This time, not only the cafe guests, but the employees cried together until their cheeks streamed with tears. Yi Shu found an opportunity and took advantage of it to ask, boss's surname Chen, right? Yep, Chen Guo. I've seen your ID card. You're not as old as I am, so I don't mind you calling me sister. You also won't lose out, Chen Guo said. Whatever you want, Yi Shu forced a smile. Today's shredded meat with chili sauce is so spicy. Little brat, go eat it all. Chen Guo hadn't eaten much. She only ate a mouthful before throwing away her chopsticks and rushing to the drinking water. After carrying a glass of water back, she kicked Yi Shu's stool. Are you done yet? Hurry up. What's the rush? Yi Shu asked. It's almost time. Chen Guo lifted her wrist to let Yi Shu see her watch. It was currently 11:53 p.m. There were only 7 minutes until the opening of Glory's 10th server. You're also going? Yi Shu was a little surprised. After playing Chen Guo's account Chasing Haze, a 5th server account, if it had started on the opening of the server, then it would now be a full 5 years old. Of course, although that account couldn't compare with his professional peak level account, it was still quite good among ordinary players. It wasn't that easy to just simply give it up. Take a look at the excitement, Chen Guo said. The opening of a new server really was quite exciting. What had originally been an ordinary day became a time when Happy Internet Cafe exploded with business. The area was packed with players. As far as the eye could see, all of the people had already opened up the registration interface, waiting with their mice hovering over the still gray 10th server icon. Entering the server, players rushed to get on the leaderboards, to clear the first dungeon, to be the first to kill a boss, etc. There were too many things waiting for the players. The opening of a new land caused people's hearts to bounce in excitement. Chen Guo looked towards these guests and couldn't help but be aroused by this sort of atmosphere. She looked back at Yi Shu, who was still picking his food. She was surprised that he was unexpectedly unaffected by this sort of atmosphere, lacking that inner pioneering quality. Well, what are you waiting for? Chen Guo looked as if she were more anxious than the guests. What's the rush? Yi Shu truly was calm, he wasn't faking it. But he couldn't deny Glory's successful marketing. Glory's competitiveness among players ranked high in every category. These relied on genuine skill which couldn't be casually made up with money and luck. Only, to a famed veteran who had once bathed in glory, these things were only ordinary and mediocre. Only after seeing how Chen Guo's expression was filled with murderous intent, did Yi Shu begin considering that it was worth it to give the boss some face. Finally, he reluctantly put down his rice bowl and looked for a computer station to sit at. F***CK, it looks like I'm forcing him play. What type of person is this? Chen Guo berated Yi Shu behind his back. The employees all suppressed a laugh. They discovered that this network manager was little different. To be able to casually make their big boss go into a bad temper, this wasn't something an ordinary person could do. Chen Guo sat at the station beside Yi Shu and registered her Chasing Haze account. The popularity of the other 9 servers hadn't dropped much because of the opening of the 10th server. The older the server, the more this was true. This was because starting in Glory with a new account wasn't easy. Chen Guo had played on Chasing Haze for 5 years until it was considered a fairly good account by ordinary standards. How could it be abandoned so easily? What's more, later, everyone would try to rush to the cross-server Heavenly Domain. This Heavenly Domain wasn't a single map. It was another world. The map was as big as the combined worlds of 5 other servers. This place had difficult instance dungeons, powerful equipment, precious materials, and also freedom. All experts would meet up there. The Heavenly Domain was a player's final destination. It was about to be midnight. In the final 10 seconds, the internet cafe had people who couldn't help but begin to count down. As the sounds grew louder and louder and the final 0 erupted, the dull gray color of the 10th server login window faded away. Everyone in the internet cafe united into one. They collectively extended their hands and inserted their account cards into the login device. Their mice clicked on the 10th server. Chen Guo turned his head towards Yi Shu and nearly spurted out blood. While everyone entered the game, this guy leisurely opened up a web page to look at. Raising her eyebrows, she saw that it was some sort of beginner handguide on the sequence of missions to take. F***CK, you don't even know how to do this? You even need a guide. If it wasn't for that genuine first edition card, even if she were beaten to death, she wouldn't have believed this guy had 10 years of gaming experience. I haven't done this in so long, there's no way I could remember, Yi Shu slowly and unhurriedly said. You've never helped someone do it before, Chen Guo said. This type of experience. I really don't have any, Yi Shu said. No sense of community, Chen Guo disdained. I had no time, Yi Shu said. People with no time wouldn't come to play. Gamers are people with spare time, Chen Guo said. I was busy playing games, Yi Shu said seriously. Then what's your job? Chen Guo asked. Playing games, Yi Shu exclaimed. Oh, are you a professional gamer? Chen Guo said. Yi Shu laughed. I was a pretty high level one too. A pretty high level one? Pro gamer? Chen Guo stared blankly. Yi Shu proudly nodded his head. Then you've retired, Chen Guo said. How did you know? Obvious, you're already so old, Chen Guo said. Yi Shu bitterly laughed. I was wondering how you were able to beat that guy in 40 seconds. It turned out you were a professional even if you're an amateur, Chen Guo said. Amateur. I know all of the professional experts. Yi Shu? I've never heard of the name. If you're not an amateur, what are you? Chen Guo asked. Haha, so it's like this, Yi Shu laughed. Don't fake it. You actually haven't retired. It's just that you were unable to win a seat, so you were kicked out, right? Chen Guo said. Yi Shu was speechless. No offense, Chen Guo realized that her words had somewhat stabbed at his sore spot. It doesn't matter, Yi Shu let out a sigh. Don't be discouraged. 25 years old isn't that old. If you keep practicing, maybe you can fight your way back, Chen Guo said. That's what I plan on doing, Yi Shu smiled. If that day really happens, then I need to request something from you, Chen Guo said. What is it? Signature, Chen Guo said. Why wait until that day? I'll sign it now. How shameless. Who wants your signature? I only want you to ask for my idol's signatures, Chen Guo said. Oh, who? Su Mucheng and also Yi Chu. Yi Chu might be a little difficult. That person likes to hide, Chen Guo said. Oh, so it's like this? Tears streamed down Yi Shu's cheeks. Yi Chu was currently chatting with you face to face, sister. Yup. Only he almost never appears in public. Even if you're an amateur, I didn't know you were this out of touch. You didn't even know about this, Chen Guo said. I know. Of course I know. Let me tell you a secret. Actually, I'm Yi Chu, Yi Shu said. Really? Then let me tell you a secret too. Actually, I'm Su Mucheng, Chen Guo said. I really am Yi Chu, Yi Shu cried. I really am Su Mucheng, Chen Guo said. Okay, stop playing around. Let me see your plan, Chen Guo waved her hand. She would no longer get angry at Yi Shu's slow and unhurried attitude. But after her line of sight returned to the screen, Chen Guo still couldn't help but say, if you don't understand something clearly, you can just ask me. I want to research a bit first. I'll only do missions for attributes or skills. Other missions with rewards such as experience or equipment, it's faster to go to instance dungeons, Yi Shu said. Right. This is the type of thinking a veteran should have. Only, you don't need to research it by yourself. Flip to the last page of that guide. Oh, when Yi Shu flipped to the last page and looked, a sudden wave of shame hit. Thinking about it, this hand guide hadn't changed much over 10 years. This was something players couldn't update any further. For missions that veterans would choose, how could no one have come up with this type of strategy already? Right now, he needed this type of strategy. Just as Yi Shu was ready to follow this strategy to take missions, tears immediately began streaming down his face. He was once regarded as textbook-level figure. Now with a beginner's guide in his hands, how could he endure this shame? Chapter 5, Skill Match. The road to receiving quests was a bumpy one. There was heavy traffic on the opening of a new server. In the history of Glory, when the second server opened, the incoming players exceeded the limit in the beginning village, causing all the players to freeze. The people who had not logged on also couldn't get online. From then on the opening of the server, Glory would temporarily increase the server limit in the village. The disaster that was the opening of the second server never happened again. This time's preparation for the opening of the 10th server was sufficient. The entering players were divided equally into every village. Although players could be seen as far as the eye could see, it wasn't packed enough to be a problem. But receiving quests from an NPC was a different problem. Everyone looked for the single NPC to accept quests from, and in a short moment, they had crammed together into a lump around him. Glory wouldn't let bodies overlap or pass through others, thus people formed ring after ring. The ones inside couldn't come out and the one outside couldn't come in. Many players were bouncing up and down energetically trying to pass over by going above other people's heads. But at this point everyone was still level 0. Their jumping abilities were too poor and there was no way they could jump high enough. Everyone repeatedly bouncing up and down was truly a cute and beautiful scene. In this situation, even the experts were helpless. Aside, Chen Guo was actually overjoyed with a face of, "I knew it would be like this." She looked at Yi Shu and recorded his username, Lord Grimm. Within the constant shouting made by countless players, the situation slowly improved. How was it solved? They made way for a small exit path to let the players who had finished accepting a quest come out. Yi Shu commanded Lord Grimm to take a few quests and began completing them one by one. Most of them were to let the players adapt to the controls and environment. The quests were all educational ones. Yi Shu was certainly not that bad as to need such advice. After experiencing kill stealing, lining up, squeezing, etc. Anyways, the ones that were all people created problems, all of the quests that could be finished in the first wave were finished. Chen Guo also observed this process from time to time. Finally, these extremely simple quests unexpectedly took a full 2 hours, causing even Yi Shu to helplessly sigh with sorrow. What's the point of an expert? In the vast ocean of people, experts didn't mean anything. Finally done, I'm now level 7. After turning in the last quest, he had leveled up again. He turned around to Chen Guo saying this, but found that Boss Chen had already fallen asleep. Yet her head still faced the screen. Does she still need to test my ability to stay up all night? Yi Shu looked down and threw his jacket onto Chen Guo's body. He turned around and went back to his playing. Looking at the panel, after completing the first wave of quests, Lord Grimm already possessed 340 skill points. In Glory, learning and upgrading skills required skill points. Different skills required anywhere from 10 to 50 points. Currently, if a max level 70, character finished all of the necessary quests, then it can have up to 4,000 skill points. But this wasn't the limit. The skill point limit was 5,000, but the remaining 1,000 skill points required a certain amount of luck and strength to obtain. In the 10 years of Glory, not a single account possessed 5,000 skill points. Even the famous Battle God 1 Autumn Leaf Peak account only reached 4,840 points, still 160 points away. 160 points wasn't a lot, but it wasn't few either. If a player used all of those points on a 50-point ultimate skill, then he could learn 3 of them or upgrade an ultimate 3 times. For a peak level expert, this was a huge advantage. Therefore, when taking these beginner quests, quests with experience and equipment rewards could be ignored, but skill points were a must. Apart from this, those that rewarded attribute points were important too. Glory characters had 4 basic attributes: strength, intelligence, vitality, and spirit. Strength affected physical attack, defense, and increased maximum inventory weight. Intelligence affected magic attacks, defense, and MP. Vitality naturally affected HP as well as stamina. Spirit affected the resistance to and duration of status effects. The 4 main attributes naturally grew as the character leveled. Only after level 20, when players began changing classes, did the growth rate change. As for quests with attribute point rewards, those were fair game. Strength was strength. Intelligence was intelligence. For classes specialized in strength, you could choose to only do strength quests, but quests rewarding intelligence were also open to complete too. This was also saying, if after growing as a specialized class, with a max level account that had finished all of the quests, the 4 main attributes would be at the exact same level. Therefore all these quests should all be completed. Afterwards, equipment could be used to raise the necessary attribute. As a result, attribute points could not be ignored. After looking at the panel, he immediately let Lord Grimm learn skills. In Glory, players can do a class change at level 20. Before then, there was no class and any skills from any profession could be learned as long as there were enough skill points. This was also for the convenience of the players. After advancing to level 20 and finding an interesting class, all of the points learned before would be returned. But after changing classes, a player can only learn from his own class's skills. He cannot become a jack of all trades. Even though Yi Shu had forgotten what quests to do and how to beat certain instance dungeons, his skills would never be lost. Glory was very balanced. Low-leveled skills also had their own function. Every person could assemble their own skill set however they liked. Though, the amount of skill points was limited. Under normal circumstances, 4,000 skill points was nowhere near enough to max out all of the skills. 5,000 points was also not enough, so players needed to choose carefully. With respect to choosing skills, Yishu naturally had his own set. Although his One Autumn Leaves class was a battle mage, he himself had once been regarded as a textbook. How could he have only been able to play a single class? Inevitably, only those proficient with every class had the qualifications. Yishu, almost without thinking, first went to the beginner skill tree and learned 2 level 5 beginner skills: Swift Run, Roll. The beginner skill tree was something every class could learn skills from. The 2 skills Yishu had learned were very convenient. These 10 skill points would let the character to move in 2 different ways. Swift Run increased running speed. The skill had no cooldown but used up stamina. After the stamina was depleted, the player would return to normal walking speed. To recover stamina, a player had to either walk or stand still. Walking would recover it slowly, while standing still would be a bit faster. Roll, as the name implies, lets the character execute a rolling movement. Rolling forward, rolling backwards, rolling left, rolling right, rolling slanted, rolling walking, rolling running, rolling whatever. It also had no cooldown but used up some time to complete. Yishu had mastered these 2 skills long ago. He also clearly knew which skills were practical to him at this stage of the game. First was Sky Strike, a battle mage skill. Every class had this type of knock-up skill. Their characteristics were all the same. After attacking, the target would be knocked up. The higher the skill level, the higher they would knocked up and the greater the damage. This was a commonly used skill. Yishu had originally been a battle mage, so he chose the battle mage skill Sky Strike. After that, Dragon Tooth, another battle mage skill. It was a direct attack that would cause the enemy to be stunned. Yishu also easily learned it because of his original class. He then learned the sharpshooter skill Floating Bullet, the mechanic skill Machine Trace, the spellblade skill Wave Splitting Sword, the grappler skill Backdrop, the ninja skill Shuriken, the blade master skill Guard, the elementalist skill Electric Ring, and the priest skill Heal. These skills didn't require a lot of points. They were all within 20 points. Lord Grimm was also only level 7, so the number of upgrades he could make to skills were limited. So in the end, there were still some leftover points. Yishu didn't learn any more skills. To him, he already had enough to deal with any situation at his level. But if this skill set that had been picked by peak level expert like him was seen by ordinary players, they would definitely laugh.